Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2019 Career Mode, episode number 45. We're in the midst of our streak of 6 straight sponsor objectives that are World Tour races. This is the 4th of them, and it is Dwars, Vlaanderen. It's a big race, and it's a difficult objective. Top 5, cobbles, some climbs. And I don't have a team that's necessarily suited for classics. We're not the worst at classics, but we are far from being a competitive best. So we are likely to take a little bit of a hit, but if we can squeeze like a top 10, at least it would be a minor hit. Now, the first almost half is pretty generic, pretty basic, so we'll jump in at about the halfway point. So 100 kilometers still to go. And after the success of this working prior, and I've seen a lot of breakaways hang on, I got not one, but 2 riders into today's breakaway. So Sean Bennett in the break on a positive 3 race day condition and working. And they're just now starting to pick up the pace a little bit here. Let's adapt here. Also, Remco Evenepoel is here, strongest rider, but not great on the cobbles. That is his weakness. But with Bennett working, if we can get a strong enough lead and essentially hang on to it, then Evenepoel could certainly go on and contest for the victory. But at the moment, Peloton actually chasing relatively hard, and just, oh, hello Peloton. Turning an opposite corner as to us. The Peloton is just over 2 minutes behind, and we did have a 3.5 minute lead, so there is a little bit more than I expected in terms of chase from the Peloton. At this stage. I mean, eventually I knew that they were going to accelerate hard and come back after us, but now I'd like to keep up tempo as much as possible, so I'm going to keep Bennett towards the high end while Evenepoel just sits on, just because I'd like to keep the others working a little bit. This gap is not big enough, and if they're going to have any chance today, we need that gap to be a little bit bigger. But back in the Peloton, these guys are already up and over that climb, so it was a short distance between them. 5 here. We do have Ooms, our strongest couple guy, and he's 79 today in that rating, so we might just hang on. Philipson's not bad at a 70. Narvaez, a 71. So there is hope. There is hope. Now, Gaudry's kind of the weak guy for today. Once we get up this climb, or partway up this climb, it's pretty short. I'm going to have him drop back to get water. Let's go and do that now. Should be fine. Oh, no. Oh, shoot. Is that a pole? What happened? Get up there, buddy. Pace picked up. Okay, Bennett, we're going to have you sit on the back while Evenepoel chases. Gosh, I go back to get water for 1 second. And they accelerate. We'll be fine, especially since he has not been working. It looks like he is going to catch these guys. Still 30 seconds away, though. Now the gap's coming down a little bit.
There are several riders who can't keep up with the pace.
With that acceleration, the gap actually has opened up a little bit. Just slightly. Evenepoel starting to close it in. There you go, he's cut the gap in half. It's right there, just about making contact. There we go, he's back. I'm going to have him get the water.
To everybody's liking, the peloton has significantly increased its speed.
We'll say that that's all it was. He went back and got water, right? Right. All right. So Venable, he'll recover from that. He'll be okay. Meanwhile, Bennett putting the work in. Let's get these two back into the happy zone. The extra man in the group, and the group has taken just slightly less effort now. Going, oh, we have 7, not 6. So this is the required effort level. Attacking these climbs a little bit. See the effort level going up. Looks like they're kind of choosing the breakaway or the climbs as an opportunity to just pull a little bit of time out of the peloton. Now, what do we have coming up?
Some team managers mustn't
Essentially just one more climb coming here in a little bit before we start hitting the cobbles. Not a ton of cobbled sections in this race, so this is more like a traditional classic, and in that case, Evenepoel's sitting in a great place if I can get him to recover, which he has not done so far. Okay, here we go into that next climb. We're good on the water.
The riders are going through a very tough portion with percentages above 10%. That's more than 2 minutes separating them. A couple of teams have set themselves up as pacemakers for the pack. They obviously don't have anybody.
Suddenly, nobody wants to work.
We're into the last third of the race. We'll soon know the final outcome. There's some that just can't keep up. There are gaps beginning to appear at the rear. A leader is down. The team plans
2 minutes. Peloton was having some minor issues there. Temporary split.
The lead over the pack is dwindling. The pack is increasing its work rate.
Okay, here we go. First cobbled section. 2 stars. Just 600 meters. It's not bad.
It's vital to be at the front to avoid falls or breaks in the peloton.
Bennett today, a 69 in that department. Evenepoel also a 69 in that department. So they both have tolerable ratings. 2 stars, 600 meters again. That one was quick and easy, downhill. Matter of just staying on the bike. Now, meanwhile, back here, first one's already gone through. Second one, we're right there. Gaudry's starting to get tired, so the peloton is feeling it a bit. And you can see that there's already a couple dozen riders out the back. I think that was a flat tire that's created that divide. It's not a permanent divide by any means, but as we immediately go uphill again, there's a chance that there won't be contact again. But these little sections, we've got to make sure we do not lose the wheel, and especially while I'm riding with these guys up front. Not getting cooperation. Not sure why that is right now. There we go. Now we're getting a little cooperation within the group. Get them both in the happy zone. There we go. Minute 48 is the gap, and the peloton did not come back together. We have just 35. And we're heading into another climb here in just a moment, and another one just after that, so it's very possible that the 48 might regain contact. It's only a minute, and they're attacking pretty hard, but a lot of the field is definitely not going to make contact again, so this could be good. And meanwhile, these guys are still holding out a minute and a half, and I've got all 7 riders still in one of these 2 groups right at the front. So we're looking good. We're looking good. Meanwhile, these guys chasing really hard this peloton. It looks like Gaudry is about to slip and go out the back, so that means Philipsen would move to take on Narvaez. And that's going to be the case. There's those 28 chasing. They're trying really hard to make contact,
The
but
pace seems much too high for many riders.
now you know what? Let's reverse this because if anybody's going to sprint, it's Philipson. So why not if they're similar? Same with Ooms. Those two can actually sprint. So I thought I set you to auto. No? Okay, fine. There you go. 22 left, and we lost one rider off the front, Robert Gessink. He was the one always showing signs of not wanting to cooperate. Bennett chasing him down pretty hard here, and this little uphill will get us up there. Bennett's going to be really tired, so I think Bennett's nearly done. But Evenepoel's going to be still in a pretty strong position, so he's going to lose Bennett from this group, and that means he is going to have to start cooperating with the others. But it'll be down to just 4 riders. So Puccio, Venter, and Alex Howes. Let's go ahead and get him into the mix. 80. Go ahead and set you to auto because I have a feeling he's about to go out the back. However, it also looks like they're about to get reeled in. We lost Greg Daniel as well. Though this group just regained contact, and Daniel right there at the edge of it. But we've got Ooms, we've got Philipson, we've got Narvaez. I'm going to use... Let's see, how many cobbled sections do we have left? Only 2 more after this, and it's a little 3.5-star section, so I think Philipson is the one I need to be riding for. Bennett did get dropped. Evenepoel now alone, so going through that sector, Evenepoel was able to go off alone, so what is that gap? Do I want Evenepoel to come back to the group because his gap is pretty small, just over a minute? It is a very difficult position. He's got some energy, but it's not going to last forever. But he also doesn't have that far left to go. So we'll see what he can do. He is going to have to back off some riding solo, though, so we'll put him at a 74. He is now the only one out there. So we'll see how that gap is doing. If they start catching him, I'm going to pull him back because that'll give us 4 riders here in the group. And he can protect one of them. Oh, Bennett's here now. Bennett, go ahead and protect Ooms.
Stefan Kuhn goes onto the attack. Counter attack by Toynes.
Okay, we're seeing attacks. Kuhn, Kalmajan, Toynes. Boy, those guys pulled out some time quickly. Now, Evenepoel's gone 5K, but you can see he's used up half the energy, and he's still got 15 to go, so I don't think he is going to make it through this. Let's go ahead and use his gel now. I think he needs to sit up and let those guys join him. He can kind of sit on the back. They have a minute 22. So let's do that. We'll sit up, let that group catch us. And now we'll just do enough. So a minute 20 is the gap. He's looking at a potential top 4 here.
The riders are entering the last 10 kilometers of the stage. It's always best to be in
Quick
the lead
1-star
for
section.
the
Let's make sure these guys get through as well.
Can happen at any moment.
9.6K to go. We're nearly there, and it's a minute gap. 8K to go. Could Evenepoel be in for a top 4 finish from a breakaway? 29 riders giving chase. Bennett, you're going to use your gel now. 3-star section, 800 meters. Evenepoel's still in the group. Hasn't been dropped, but they did pick up the pace. Got to make sure we don't fall off here. Minute 10, the gap.
Only 5 kilometers left.
Everybody use your gel. You 4. Nothing yet, because these guys have a chance to go off and win this, and it looks likely. It's looking likely. 4K to go. And Evenipol's hanging on. Now, Evenipol's not a sprinter. But neither is Kalmajan, neither is Kung. Toynes, the favorite. 4K to go. 3K to go. 3.5 anyway for these guys. Philipsen, the obvious choice for the sprint. Ooms. Narvaez. Narvaez, start a lead out right now. At 99. Venable 2.6K. That's one. Everybody else sitting on him. I want to see if he can stay out away. If I sprint him now, I think it's going to be too early, but I've got to know what's going on here. Narvaez needs to do his sprint.
And they're off. It's going to be very fast.
Okay. Technical finish, so go ahead and sprint. But I need to know what's going on here. Ooms, your sprint. Coming around the corner, Venable still in a strong position. Could be in for second place here or third. He's going to have a podium, though. Meanwhile, Narvaez, let up on your sprint. Okay, we'll see what's going on here. Get to the finish. It's second or third. Second or third. Second or third. Toynes takes the win, of course. Ooh, that is so close. Thought we might have had it, but Kalmajan takes second. Evenepoel on the podium in third. We needed a top 5. He pulled it off. He was the last man left from the break, joined by 3 other riders breaking late. We have success on our hands. Meanwhile, Ooms, not much of a lead out there. So distracted with what's going on the front that we now focus on Philipsen. Oh, they were already on the final corner. Okay, well, they miss out on 5, 6, 7, but we're going to get 8, 9, and 10 as well. So that is 3rd, 8th, 9th, and 10th as a team. That's worth a lot of points for a major classic race. We do not win, but we do complete the sponsor objective. We do get 3rd overall. So better than the objective as we get on the podium, not just a top 5. That was very much unexpected. I was really surprised that the breakaway never had a huge gap, yet somehow stayed away. And Evenepoel left the others behind the moment they had a little slight uphill cobbled section. His pace was just too much, and all of a sudden he was riding solo. Main reason for that, of course, was he sat on. Having 2 minutes in the break, while nobody else did, was the key to that race. Evenepoel survives, and honestly, he's lucky that Toynes, Kalmajan, and Kung came along. He's not going to win that race if those 3 don't break away from the field. He would have been caught. He wasn't going to make it to the end. But having the other 3, he makes it to the end. So sitting up, waiting for them, and the fact that they covered the ground that they did in such a short period of time to close the gap to him, very fortunate. I think we got a lot of help. We got a lot of luck in that result. That was definitely not down to skill. But strategy, the tactics, absolutely paid off, and none of it happens without that piece. So I can't give it all down to luck. I think tactically I raced that brilliantly for a team that was nowhere near top 10 favorites. They end up winning by 42 seconds, and again, I get 4 guys inside the top 10. That's got to be, top team overall. Trek, though, on the same time, but of course we crossed that line first. 3rd man, anyway. Like I said, that's got to be worth something there. How are we looking now? World Tour Philipsen up to 8th place in the rankings. Evenepoel up 66 places in the rankings. No continental points for that one. It was a World Tour race. But in the Super Prestige, Philipsen is number 1. And Evenepoel into the top 10. As a team, we jumped to 7th World Tour rankings, even though we're a Continental Pro team. We're not dominating that one anymore because we've been doing so many World Tour races and not Continental races, though we are back above Dimension Data, who had overtaken us. And somehow, we are 2nd in Super Prestige against all those World Tour teams. I mean, we are double Dimension Data. That's pretty nice. That is pretty nice. In terms of that race, what did we pull for that? Scale. It's gonna be what, like a World Tour? No, not Tour. It's gonna be Classics. There it is. So we get the 3rd and the 8, 9, 10. So a lot of World Tour points. Super Prestige, of course, is the main one that I'm keeping an eye on. That's my main comparison that I use, obviously, in the Gaming Decathlon, if you've followed that in the slightest. So we pick up 105, and then we pick up another almost 150. So we get nearly 250 points out of that race. Now on the calendar side, we still have a couple more coming up. Sponsor confidence is now fairly well set. I think we're looking at that increase at the end of the season. I don't think there's much more we could do to damage it. Oh, we're right at the start of the period. Okay, so we just did this. I will do this race off camera. And then we're going to go into the Presidential Cycling Tour of Turkey. 2-star objective on that one. 3 sprint stages, 1 mountain stage, 2 hill stages. I will definitely not show all of those, but it also depends on what is the objective coming up for that one. A stage win. So we're likely looking at just the sprint finishes. If Philipsen is there, we'll be looking for him to take one of those sprint stages, and then we'll kind of cruise through. Otherwise, it is a World Tour race, so it's in there. It's up there. Amgen Tour of California after that. That's top 5 overall, so we're not looking for the sprint stages on that one. And that'll be in the middle of May. So let's go ahead and continue on to the next objective. We'll see this one turn out as the blue plus star. But out of 4 straight, we've made 3 out of 4, with 2 of them getting the plus. And the same thing we did for Strade Bianche. We just pulled off breakaway. We didn't get the win this time, but we did get a top 3. Ready to enter the Tour of Turkey. Before we do the news updates, as we're now mid-April, teams for Tour de Suisse, Dimension Data and Hagens Berman are the only one getting invited, so we're not going to be there. Paris-Roubaix, we did not get an invite there. Niels Pollitt has won it with Bob Jungels and Yves Lampart, while Van Aert taking 4th. And for Criterium de Dauphiné, Cofidis, Arceus Hamsik, Vital Concept, again, not us. Venge, though, does have an update for us. So this is from Specialized, our frames, and this is the sprint stage, so flat stage, frame that we use. It's only a 3-star. It's very reliable, but it's mediocre on the feeling, and it could definitely be better than 3 stars. So that's where, and it hasn't been updated since 2012. So this is where we're looking at, and we're now into the testing phase on that one. But let's go ahead and head into stage 1, totally flat, and of course Philipson is there to lead the way for us. A weird little glitch is actually on the verge of costing me 2 riders, and here it goes again. So I sent Bart to get back to get water like 30 kilometers ago, and then he got the water, and he comes back through the field and gives everyone water, and he stops. But then Miguel Bryan doesn't get water. So, plagued by a little bug here, because then Barta goes back to get water again, but instead of getting water, just drops out the back of the peloton all alone. So then I have to take over Barta and sprint and get right back onto the back end, and then I grab water again, second time, and he starts making his way through the field, and meanwhile Miguel Bryan, now 20 kilometers have gone by, and he never got water, so he was desperate, so he went back to get it himself. So now Bryan, tired, Barta, tired after sprinting, chasing water twice, and others are naturally tired just because, the pace. So, a little unfortunate, just 12k to go now. I'd like to be starting this process about 14k out, and I'd certainly like to have all my guys up front in order to do this. But I brought a team for stage wins, not for the overall. McNulty might be able to compete in the overall, but that's about it. So we have Philipson, we have Ooms on a +3, so that's going to help. Bryan, though, should be that, that main guy, and he is just not there. So we're going to let Ooms be that main guy today, use Bryan first. From there, it's kind of just who's fresh. Well, who's fresh? Narvaez. And then Owen, and then McNulty, and then now Barta. Where are you, Barta? Have you made it back up here? Barta, go forward, please. Please. Why are they all going backwards? Oh my goodness. Okay, go ahead and use your gel. Let's get up there, guys. McNulty behind where he should be. Bryan behind where he should be. And we're down to 9.4, and we're just now getting to the front of the field. At least it's not happening, with 3 or 4k to go. Because I brought 3 sprinters. I didn't bring a whole team of sprinters. So McNulty's going to take over, and we'll go at 97. Barta's done. Barta, go ahead and get out of the way here a little bit. Thank you. Did Bryan ever make it up here? No, he has not, and he can't get through. I think he's going to be out of this mix, which means I really only have 2 guys for this. Gel. Okay, Owen, your turn. McNulty, grab onto the back. And we need to accelerate. Bryan's going to grab onto the back as well. Oh, he's almost here. He's almost here. He's still got a little something left, too. But he's not quite there. Just a little off. But you can see how we're a little bit ahead of everybody right now. So this is where I want to be setting this up. But I only have 2 lead out guys left now. Bryan's just not there. So let's start our sprint 2.2k out, Narvaez. You're definitely not going to sprint at full speed. So what is your sprint? Well, it's good enough. It is good enough because nobody has overtaken us. We still have the ideal position here as Ooms goes. We've got a real shot at this one. We've got a real shot at this. Here we go. Ooms, great lead out. And now Philipson. And look at this. There's Danny Van Poppel. And then we've got a gap. We have a gap. Philipson, go, go, go. Yes! 1 stage, 1 victory. We'll just cruise through the rest. We've done it. We got our stage win on the first try. Outside of Brian not being there, not being a part of it, that was a proper lead out. And that made it for an easy victory. Philipson at least was on the top 10 list of favorites. I mean, it's a World Tour race, and we have often not been on the top 10 list, but Philipson was 7th favorite in this one. So there were still 6 guys picked ahead of him, and we smoked them. That gap to Simile was what really set that up, and then it was just us versus Van Poppel, and Van Poppel had no lead out and was already giving it his all, and Philipson was able to leave it late and just zoom on home. Meanwhile, Ooms takes 5th, so not bad for him either. And with this race and sponsor objective handled, dealt with, that's 5 out of the 6 World Tour objectives now behind us, with 4 of 5 that we've thus far participated in completing. So we're looking real good on that front, and of course with the success that we've had in various realms, we're all set. We're going to take a moment, look at those sponsor objectives now, see how things are, and then we move on. And call it an episode, because there's no reason to kind of sit through these. Last big objective is that final World Tour one, and that's the MJ Tour of California. It is 3.5 stars. Could have an impact, but right now I don't think anything we do there, no matter how bad we mess that up, I don't think it's going to hurt us, because our results maxed out. Our registered riders looking really good. Squad looking excellent. This one's not even classified yet because they don't do it till the end of the race, even though they've already got Philipson's name down. But in terms of noteworthy results, there you go. Quite a few noteworthy results there by Philipson. Registered riders. Oh man, that worked out well. Okay. By the way, I got a tip from somebody, I think it was last season, PCM 2018, made a huge difference on the registered riders and how that one just was not going well for me. Most popular rider within the nation that you are riding in on a big race, on a sponsor objective race. So if the race is in Belgium, put Belgian riders in there. That's what we've been doing. In fact, all 5 of these are exactly that. Philipson and Evenepoel are both Belgian. American riders and American races. But here's the reason why my American riders aren't being noted for American races, or otherwise, is it goes with your most popular riders. And Philipson and Evenepoel at 76 overall, and with the wins that they're getting, they're both known, and that's what's making the difference, and that's why they're showing up on the list. And so we're kind of lucky because there's a lot of major races in Belgium, and so from that we're getting these guys. Now the UAE Tour, Philipson, not a big comeback on that one because it's Belgian rider, it's your top rider at a race outside of their home country, but en loop, Tours Tor Vlaanderen, those are major because that was within their home country. Strade Bianche, I want to say that's Italy, and Turkey. So I'm actually surprised we're getting this one here, but we brought a big name guy to a big race, and they're happy with us for that. Also, our reputation looking really good right now. So McNulty, they like him. And we've got the right number of riders from the U.S., even though I think it's only about 3. And then Philipson really helping the case. So things are looking good. 1 large objective left. That's it. This is all minor stuff. Most of it's after August 1st anyway. These are not going to have any impact. The MJ Tour of California as long as we get top 10 or above, I see no reason to think that there's any doubt that this is going to drop. If we completely bomb the Amgen Tour of California and our top guy finishes in like 30th, then they might be a little upset from that one. But even then, I'm not sure it's going to cause this to dip. I think our analysis by the sponsor is that positive right now that I think we're pretty well secure for the year. In which case, going back to it, that means we're looking at an increase up to 150,000 per month. So last year we were at 100. This year we're at 125. That would boost us to 150 for next year. And then finally, reviewing this, and you probably already remember where we're at on this, but maybe not. 4 contracts is all that is coming up. We re-signed a ton of riders last year and then signed on some new riders. So we had major changes, and we still managed to not only retain Evenepoel at a much increased salary, but also bring in Jasper Philipsen at a much increased salary. And these two have been killing it for us. So they've been awesome. We're going to have to pay to play somebody else as well. And looking at that salary, right, that 25,000 increase can go almost entirely into one rider. So here's my thoughts on next season at this point. Lauren Cassart, I'm going to let him go. He's not improving. He doesn't have a lot of potential. He's gone. These 3, I'd like to keep all 3. Ooms, my one classics guy, Narvaez, my best puncher, and McNulty, my second best climber. McNulty's the one who could be sacrificed if he wants a crazy increase in money. But that's going to hurt the team's view of the America team, and he's got a ton of potential. So I strongly prefer to keep McNulty as long as it's at an affordable level, because then if it's at an affordable level and I can keep Narvaez and Ooms with whatever increase goes into them, I should hopefully have a little bit more for one more quality rider to bring in. Somebody at a 73, 74. Now, if these guys take like no increase, which I doubt that's going to happen, these guys all signed for about 7,000 and are a level behind them. So if they're all going to sign for about 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, or 12,000 even, that's my 25,000 right there. So just retaining these guys looks like close to all we're going to be able to do for the year. However, looking at all the contracts, they're all 2022, which then would translate to, we go into next season, I've got 2 guys that are 76 already. If somebody levels up, if these guys level up, hopefully after signing the contract, they level up almost right away, then all of a sudden our team index looks better and better, and maybe, just maybe, we squeeze our way into the World Tour. At which point things start getting a lot easier on signing guys in the future. But then if we get another increase of, say, 25,000 the next year, I've got no contracts up. 0. So, because I would sign these guys to multi-year deals, and all of them are all signed to multi-year deals already. So potentially next year we'll have 100% of our budget to go out and sign one big name. So it would be really nice if I can sign those guys on the cheap this year so that I can also get one medium name this season. I'm just not sure that's going to happen, but we'll see. They're all young. I mean, look at this. Our best riders are all young. Gaudry at 27 is looking like an old man right now, and considering I've got 10 years on him, I'm feeling my age at the moment. That is going to do it for this episode, though. A lot of progress out there, and I think we're now heading into cruise mode towards getting those contracts signed, done, delivered, and moving on quickly through the rest of the season, because everything's pretty well established. Sponsor objectives are there. We're pretty much just down to, can we re-sign all 3 of these guys? How much budget do we then have left to maybe go get one more additional rider? that's at. So I need to keep an eye on my youth development and these guys that we're monitoring. There's only a couple that are really, really high on potential, but they're not. It's Dombrowski and Micah who aren't actually improving. Dombrowski sitting at a 74 and already 28, so I don't see how they've got him at world class and grand champion when Dombrowski has really not changed ratings in 5 years. Let's see, but there's one. And so there's some young guys. It's an American rider with high potential. That could be a good signing, even though it's Peridor, but we can change his style over time, especially as he's just 18. We're close monitoring with this guy, Climber, 66 already. So definitely things to watch for going forward. But I think we will pick up the pace on this season. But one last time here. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button on 2 objectives met. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.